Good afternoon, guys. It's Bryson with the Parker County Beef Company. Long day of processing today, but I wanted to shoot a quick video on my way home and talk about hanging weights. So a hanging weight on a beef carcass is going to be the weight that animal hangs at once it has been harvested. And before we cut it up into the things that you're used to seeing, your roasts, your ribs, your steaks, your ground beef, it's just hanging on the rail. And this is part of our aging process. I'll do another video on exactly how we age our beef, but I wanted to talk to you guys about yields. It's a big question that everybody has when it comes to getting beef processed or buying a half a beef is what does that look like? So generally speaking, at least for our beef, we run at about a 63 to 65% yield. And what that means is for every pound of live weight or weight on the hoof, so every pound that it's walking around is going to be about 65% of that on the rail. So 1,000-pound steer would be about 650 pounds hanging. Now, we like to get our steers to about 1,500 pounds minimum, so that number bumps up a little bit. But I wanted to show you guys an example of two that we processed today and maybe some considerations if you're looking to have a beef processed. Today, we processed two of our own beef for the Parker County Beef Company. So, hanging weights on this one right here is going to be 855 pounds. So that's a little bit on the low end for us. We like to be at 900 average. And then this one right here is 996 pounds. So these animals were probably between 1,400 and 1,600 pounds. I don't know. I don't have the math in front of me, but probably in that 1,500 pound range on average. Now, we contrast that with a calf that we had brought in to be processed today, and I'll step back so maybe you guys can see it. But the hanging weight on this was 332 pounds. So let me step behind here. You guys can maybe see the difference, but significantly different than the size that you see on our beef right there. So while these beef will hang at about 65%, you do lose a little bit of yield on something like this, just because the proportion of that animal that is dedicated to bones and to structure of that animal is much higher. So this, I would anticipate the yield on this was probably closer to 50%, if not a little bit lower. That's your first yield, is from live weight to hanging weight. The second yield we talk about is going to be from the hanging weight to the box weight. So the box weight is what everybody wants to know. That is the weight that you carry home in the boxes. So on our big beef, our Parker County Beef Company beef, we try to hit another 65% of your hanging weight as your box weight beef. Now your numbers can kind of be skewed on that because if you save all of your soup bones, you save your bulk fat, things like that, you can skew that number a little bit higher. But for this, like I said, so much of the weight that's here is dedicated to structure, to bones, to tendons, inedible parts, that this is not going to yield what a 1,500 pound beef yields. So where those hung at, or those were on the hoof at 1,500, they probably hung it, like I said, 900, and then you get, 500 to 600 pounds of product out of these. This one was probably on the hoof at 650 to 700 pounds. It hung at 330, and you'll probably only get 50% of that back in box weight product. So wanted to make a quick video and explain that to you guys. I'm going to start doing more videos of our processing series here. I'm going to cut the camera, give you guys a chance to see these carcasses a little more zoomed out. So as you guys can see, this one was a hanging weight of 1,000 or 996 pounds. And you can really see it's about a 9, we've got 10-foot ceilings in here, so that's about 9 to 9.5 feet. And you can see we are pretty close to the ground right there. Same with this one at almost 900 pounds, hanging pretty close to the ground. And then let me step around here. You can just see, really from this view, you can see the difference in a 900 pound hanging beef and a 300 pound hanging beef.